Hi, I'm Eleanor.
And I'm Lisa.
And we are the co-founders of What's Your Grief? And today we are going to talk to you about 5 reasons why experiencing the death of a parent can be really hard.
Yes, really hard. So obviously all types of grief are hard, but these are just a few sort of unique experiences that you might be going through if you've lost a parent.
Right.
So the first one we want to talk about is when you might be feeling kind of overshadowed or like your grief is being minimized because of other people in your family. And this is usually not with bad intentions. It's often just that sometimes people are more worried about either how the other parent who survived is doing or how one of your siblings is doing. Yeah. Maybe you have a sibling who is just more emotional or outwardly seems like they're not doing as well. Maybe they're younger and they seem a little more fragile. Whatever the reason, sometimes you can get that feeling that people are worried maybe a little bit about you, but then are more worried about other people, and you start to feel like you're trying to hold it together, but you know, it's all about everybody around you.
Like everybody at the grocery store is like, how's your mother, how's your father, how's your sister, how's your brother? They're not always asking how you are. And so it feels like people are more worried about everybody else. And also, let's be honest, a lot of times certain members of the family feel like they have to step up and take care of everybody else and put their grief on the back burner. So that's number one. Number two is that family dynamics are just going to have to change. There's really no way around it. People in your family fill vital roles. Maybe in the day-to-day, minutia, but it might be that they filled roles also on holidays, special days, things like that. Maybe they filled certain places in your life that now are empty.
And you may see that other people are trying to fill that space and it's just not working. There's certain things that just can't be filled, and that's okay, but sometimes just realizing that can't be filled is hard. You might be trying to fill certain roles and struggling to do that, feeling this pressure to now suddenly be the person who's responsible for something that your mom or dad always did, or just kind of doing something to support other people. It can be a lot of different things that can cause frustration around that. And be hard. So the third thing we want to talk about is something that a lot of people have maybe never heard the word for before, even if you've experienced it, and that's called regrief or regrieving. And this is something that happens if you might have been aware of this if you lost a parent when you were pretty young, and now a little bit of time has passed, which is that when we lose a parent at a certain age, we sort of process that based on where we are at that age, at that developmental stage where we are. Then when we hit new developmental stages in our life, we often go back and sort of revisit that loss and that grief, and it is now affecting us and impacting us in new and different ways. So if you lost a parent when you were 8, you sort of your 8-year-old self made sense of that. But then when you're 12 or you're 18 or you're 25 or whatever, then you start to understand it differently. And that really continues across the lifespan, that there are new and different life stages that we get into that bring up our grief for us in new and different ways. And that's totally normal.
And I think lots of times when this comes up, like decades after the person died, you feel like you're going crazy, but it's really, you're not going crazy. It's totally normal.
Absolutely.
This actually brings us to number 4, and that is the fact that milestones will forever be sort of a mix of happy and sad, right? So things like graduations, weddings, birthdays, having children, so children who would have been your parents' grandchild. These are really happy and positive events, but a lot of times there is those feelings as well of being a little bit sad, maybe that your parent isn't there, or it's bringing up maybe memories and certain emotions.
Well, I think you're just very aware of the absence of that person, like that idea that the absence of someone sometimes feels like its own presence, and on really special days and milestones, we're very aware of that. I think about that a lot. I was 18 when when my dad died, and when I graduated from college, I was so aware of his absence, and it made the day really hard, and I really appreciated the other other people in my family who acknowledged, like, this is a really amazing, wonderful, exciting thing, and this is really hard that your dad's not here for it.
I think sometimes people feel like they can't feel two things at once that are kind of feel like they're in conflict, but it is definitely possible to experience that mix of happiness and sadness all at the same time. And just because you feel that sadness doesn't mean you aren't happy as well. So, number 5.
Number 5, our parents are often kind of our big support system and our cheerleaders, and they're the people who often tell us that they believe in us, help to encourage us that we can do things. Sometimes they're just there to help us out when things aren't going well, to sort of bail us out if we're struggling. And when that disappears, sometimes it can be a huge blow to our confidence, our identity, our sense of being grounded in the world.
Definitely.
Even if your parent wasn't the greatest parent, because let's be honest, parents aren't always the greatest. They still often provide that sense of sort of stability and connection and grounding and family.
Yeah,
and that has a big impact when it's
And
gone.
along with that, that element of your support system has changed, but so does the rest of your support system in many ways, because your family is also grieving at the same time, and maybe many of your family's close friends. So everybody's dealing with grief in different ways. Everybody feels differently. Everybody has needs related to the loss, and so your support system maybe feels a little bit weakened.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are our 5, but there are obviously many others, because grief is very unique and complex and different for everybody. So if you've experienced something that we haven't mentioned, please go down to the comments and share it there, and you can have a conversation with other people who maybe have experienced the same thing.
Absolutely. And if you want more information, you can always visit our website, whatsyourgrief.com, and you can also listen to our podcast, What's Your Grief? And we've got a lot more information there.
And subscribe to our channel for our future videos. Perfect.